Good morning, Art Fam. It's Sunday and it's Pop-Up Sunday Session with Nadineo and Don Stevens. How are you doing this morning? It's a beautiful morning for some creation or creating art. Don, how you feeling today?
I'm fine. Ready to
Yeah,
rock and roll.
you ready to rock and roll?
As always.
Now, I hear you got a little coffee thing going on, so you might need to go over and grab it when it's ready. So what do
Yeah,
you,
I'm just waiting for it. That's all.
yeah, what you fixing to put in it?
I don't know today. We might just put a tad bit of baking soda in it today.
Okay.
Yeah,
And,
because of the Thanksgiving and everything. So baking soda is good for antacid, all that good stuff and stomach stuff. So
uh-huh,
now it's time to get the stomach back together. All the eating festivities is over for right
right,
now.
right. So that's what you usually do. You put some baking soda. What do you put it like a spoonful or
No,
something like that?
I put a lot of different things in. If you go back and look at the videos, everybody, you can see some of the things like turmeric, cumin, cinnamon, um, turmeric with black pepper,
Mm-hmm.
turmeric with cayenne pepper, cayenne pepper. If you look up on most of these things, you'll see why I put it in my cup. And maybe
Mm-hmm.
you might want to put it in your cup. It helps with certain things in the morning, in the evening, helps with certain things overnight, and it gives your coffee another flavor other than just a sweet and a tart.
Yeah.
So then this way, like you could put, sometimes if I want a treat, I'll take one of those little small blocks of Hershey Kiss candy or Hershey chocolate and
Mm-hmm.
drop that in there. And with my coffee, let that melt down and then put a little creamer in there and then good to go. You got all your sugar and you got a dark chocolate in there, which is real good for you.
Yeah, chocolate.
So,
Definitely chocolate is good. And I
yeah,
like me some chocolate.
yeah, get some dark chocolate and put a couple of shavings inside your coffee and you'll see what happens. And then put it with a little bit of cayenne pepper because the
Mm-hmm.
cayenne pepper kicks up anything that's in medicinal that's in your liquids and stuff if you look up on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an enhancer to herbs and things like that. Like sometimes I even use green tea stuff, kelp. What are some other things off the top of my head? There's some burdock roots, the essence of that. Sometimes I get that a lot. It's kind of expensive, but it's good for the body, and things like that. So mostly everything I get. There's a lot of other things. That's just a short list. But
Gotcha.
today, the baking soda, because the baking soda is good for the stomach and good for a kick. It'll give you a boost, not energy, but it'll give you a up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Without it being, wrong to the body. That bicarbonate will work pretty good in the body.
And nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh
Uh,
no, that's why I'm up and running around all the time. So I know there's nothing wrong with it. So, that's up to others. I hear people say, ew, baking soda. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? That's up to you. How long do you want your ticker to tick? You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's all I want to say. So
that's
my
cool.
yeah, just
Yeah.
life, just life. That's all, just life.
Yeah. So today I just finished posting um the reference photo for today. I don't know why I got pulled or drawn into it. I maybe it was, you know, you were saying when you saw it, you were you said texture, and we did something similar, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
we did something exactly to this earlier on. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah, but I don't know.
With
I don't.
markers and the highlight markers and did it abstract.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Because of that feeling, that's when everybody wanted to try to investigate abstract ideas by
mm-hmm.
using nature and using things around you. That's pretty much all we're going to do with this one.
Okay.
This one is an exercise in textures and how would you put these two different textures together?
Mm-hmm. And let me see. I am going to put it up and share it on the screen. This photo is actually in our Facebook group. I just posted it. So if you want to download it for this session purpose only, this is the image I took while walking around. I believe, I'm not sure, but I feel like it was in a park somewhere. And I was thinking it was San Francisco, but since I don't have anything that says San Francisco right here.
No, that's where you was up there in Alaska, I believe.
No, this is an older one. This is an older photo, I believe, but I'll have to go back and look at the GPS coordinates to see if it'll come up. Sometimes I keep it on, sometimes I don't keep it on. So
oh, you don't name your photos. Uh-oh.
well, I named it, but I don't name it right away. And the problem is after a while, the pile gets larger.
Yeah, that's that management of photos idea, the periodical management.
Yeah, I really got to work on that.
Yeah. As an
That's
idea, everybody, you just put your name. You can retitle your photos from those numbers that you have on it that says the date and the day. I would suggest that you make a folder, and when you do have a idea like that and you see a photograph, you can even do it on your phone. You know, you can put it on your phone and you can resave it on your phone. Go to your photo editor, and then you can make another folder in your phone.
mm-hmm,
So then this way you can say flowers from wherever you was at. You know what I mean? You can say whatever that environment is. You can have a folder for downtown. And then all the shots you take for downtown, you're just saving that folder so you know it was a downtown scene. You may not remember where it was at, but you know it was a downtown scene. So then then you can put all of that in your title, you know what I mean, of the photograph. So that's what I do. I'll rename it. Like for us, I'll take this photo and put it in the pop-up Sunday folder. And I don't put the date because the photos have their own dates on there, but I'll put on there what the session was. You know, and then now I remember which photos was used for what and how, and then can match it with the pieces in the file cabinet here. Yep. And that's a nice way, everybody, to try to keep your files together. Just make a folder for every scene or place or thing. And then when you start taking pictures of that type of space or place or thing, you can just drop them in there. And then, like how you're saying, you can come back later and rename it if you're on the go and on the move. So, yeah. But it's good to just have folders preset so you can drop them in. That helps with the naming and remembering, if remembering the location is important, you know what I mean? You know, so for us it's important, but it's not that important to effectively do the piece, you know what I mean?
Right.
We just like to have background information, and because you go on the trips, that's why we like the background information. That's all. You know how we get down. Oh, another thing you can put in your coffee is ginger. That's another good one everybody likes. It's a good taste. The powdered ginger. I'm sorry about that. It just popped in my head. Something said, tell them about the ginger, Don. You forgot the ginger.
And ginger has a lot of medicinal qualities to deliver. And do you ever put turmeric?
No, I always put turmeric, ginger, and cumin are my main ones, in a baking soda. Those are my main four that I go to. And then I have matcha root and things like that, matcha root, maca root, and other things like that I can put in that gives a creamy consistency. The burdock gives a creamy consistency. But yeah, matcha, maca, turmeric, the one we just mentioned, ginger. Yeah. Because ginger is another one that's a heightener. So, you know, if you put the cayenne with the ginger, then you get a nice creamy kick. And that helps with your stomach acids and stuff too, as well, the pancreas and all that good stuff. So it's not like you're going to instantly feel some type of sensation. It's accumulation over time. So, you know, if you have a regimen of taking these things in daily or every other day, or at least 2 times on the week, then yeah, you're gonna feel some effects from it. So I say that as a disclosure because I don't want people to think that I'm saying, oh, if you take it right now, you'll feel so much better. You might, but no, I'm not a physician. I can't tell you, I'm really like a novice, but I'm a novice that explores with myself as the guinea pig.
Mm-hmm.
So I only go by the results that I yield based upon what I'm doing. So, what I'm doing, I lost a couple of more pounds. So, and keep the mucus out of the lungs and the voice sounds good, you see. So that's how I judge it. And when people look at you, they say, wow, your skin looks good. How old are you? And I go, hey, well, old enough to have kids, but not old enough to see Methuselah. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
you know,
So true.
so yeah. Sometimes I don't like get caught up in all of that. That's just somebody just poking and prying for some reason. But
Mm-hmm.
if you drink a lot of water, stay away from certain things, your skin will do the same thing to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Trust you me. Because they say that's the third kidney anyway. Or the next kidney is your skin, your outer layer.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, think about it. Your whole outer layer of your skin takes in moisture and lets out moisture. It lets out fecal matter, urine, and all other waste that can come out of the pores.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at your skin, you can tell when you're sick or when something's going down. So it's mainly, another kidney,
Mm-hmm.
another spot where it's a whole organ. It's not just one spot. It's the whole skin layer over the whole body is an
Mm-hmm.
organ. So treat it as such, it'll treat you good. Get your vitamin E in, your water, saturate yourself properly, proper use of salt. You know what I mean? The problem is the table salt has the cake, the cake and the other preservatives inside it. And that's really what your body is reacting to, not actually the sodium if you really
Mm-hmm.
look into it. So that's why you should get a grinder and just get, natural salt as you can, whether it be kosher sea salt or pink Himalayan.
Mm-hmm.
Crunch up your own salt. If you put a teaspoon, not a teaspoon, excuse me, yeah, a half a teaspoon of salt in a glass of water in the morning and stuff, that helps. But only if you don't have high blood pressure and stuff like that already. So if you have that whole package going, I wouldn't say do that. I would say talk to your physician, your doctor, and make sure you keep abreast with your doctor. I wouldn't want to get in trouble with none of you guys. I really enjoy everybody. So wouldn't want you trying to sue me or Nadine over something my mouth said, you know what I mean? And you take it to heart like I'm saying it's 300. No, no. I'm saying, hey, I tried this. Why don't you try it? I think Nadine tries it too as well, off and on, but she's
Mm-hmm.
more of like a tea person,
Yeah,
from
I
what
get
I've
the
gathered.
ginger tea. I get that
Yes.
ginger tea going, man.
Yeah, there you go. See, and then that's where you can, buy the root and just, cut it up into quarter pieces and drop it in a little saucepan or pot and boil
Let it
that and you
simmer.
can't go. Yeah, let it simmer. Let it simmer for 5. Let it sit for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Put your honey to it and drink your ginger tea.
Ooh, it's good and
Yeah.
it's got some bite to it,
Oh
boy.
yeah. Get all that mucus out of you, out of your
Yeah.
chest. You know what I mean? Get you right. And yeah, stay next to a bathroom, everybody. I know that's a TMI moment, but most of these things will get you to alleviate yourself within a half an hour of taking it. You know what I mean? So I use those words being more diplomatic. I've been
Yeah.
told I can be kind of gross. So, you know what I mean? Figured out if
Well,
you use certain words, everybody just laugh and snicker and keep it going.
yeah, but I mean, everything that is about art and creation and the creative process. I mean, even as we're talking about what we're talking in terms of what we put in our body, our bodies, is that you're creating an experience.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
experiment.
in an experiment, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of things going on when that happens. So um I enjoy having this conversation as we get ready, but I see you getting ready to move that. That
Yeah.
was a previous class.
Yeah, what happened was on Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday, I have a class. Well, I have 2 classes I do, but the one that's earlier is at Juniata Park with the Man Center included. And then on Wednesdays, I have the Northeast Center. So
Mm-hmm.
what happened was Wednesday, they closed half a day. So that class starts at 1. So we couldn't do it that day. So I did the class online on the
Mm-hmm.
Facebook Live. This one was for Wani at the park. on Thursday morning, we did this idea in marker.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a piece where, I get the photographs off of, same way we get the pictures here, but not from you this time. We just get them offline. And you draw them. With this one here, what we was fusing in was the sketch and wash pencil and the water soluble graphite with the marker as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another way of using it, quick, easy, and just something textual, a landscape and a man meditating. So every now and then, well, not every now and then, in the classes that I do during the week, I bring photographs in and we go from the photograph and work. And I show people how to do certain things. And we pick different mediums. In those classes, we're doing graphite and stuff like that. But I'm sure from seeing some people seeing some of the videos, last week I got some people Friday, they said they wanted to try some things because they saw the videos.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm sure that'll be changing up in the class. Some of the classes that are charcoal might want to start doing color. But the whole, part that blocks it up, and that's why we having the other initiatives, is supplies. So
Yeah.
when people don't have enough to people want to learn, people want to do oil painting, but they don't have the supplies. I mean, I try to
Mm-hmm.
tell them it's expensive. If you all get together in that one class and buy together, everybody be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you have your mavericks. But nonetheless, this is one of the things that I did over there in the marker idea that we use here. The only additive that was there is the sketch and wash pencil and the sketch and wash graphite, the water
Okay.
soluble graphite. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's pretty much can be done the same way. You can do it with graphite, with just a graphite stick and a graphite pencil, wet brush, wet tissue, because that's what we was using. And then you can use another piece of paper. So if you guys have a wet set or the sketch and wash pencil, I was thinking about sneaking in that on everybody, but either or, we'll show how to reconstruct and work this photograph that you got up there. You know what I mean? It's another easy one. That's all you're looking at. Yeah, 3, 6, 8 leaves. Yep, 8 leaves you're looking at, and then a whole bunch of stones.
Mm.
So just like how you're saying, if you wanted it to stay abstract, what you're doing is you're just observing the photograph for right now for a minute, right? And you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to see what type of marks you're going to make up to resemble or to mimic or to utilize or copy those edges that we see there. So let's go. Get it ready. Let me get my other markers out. Let's see. Uh-oh, don't want to lose them out my bag. Remember, everybody, I said you should get a bag of them. So I got a bag of markers. So, no eraser. This is an exercise with no eraser, everybody. None whatsoever. No, none of that. Now, the micro marker, I don't know. I may look into that later. But to start this one off, I would just start with the regular Sharpie or the king size Sharpie. Now I got another one in here that's a bigger one that I like using every now and then. This one come from out so I can show it. It's called a chisel point one. So you have a king size and you have the regular and you have the micro. And a lot of times I like using this one too. This one is pretty cool to use. I'll show it in a moment once I get myself set up. Uh-oh. Hopefully that camera didn't move. We'll unmute later.
Just a little bit, but
There we go. I got it back. I think I got it back. Yeah, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move this chair over here. Move that light back in here. There we go. Good morning, everybody, again. Yeah. All right. So now I don't have this one printed out, everybody, but I do have it on my laptop across the way. So when you're looking at these leaves now, here's the other marker. This one is a chisel tip.
Mm.
All right. You see that? This
Yeah.
one is called the Sharpie chisel tip. That's the regular one. And there's my supersizer, the king size Sharpie. All right. And then you have the micro, so everybody knows what that looks like. All right. So then let's get to going. Well, what I would say is where I'm going to deal with the stem on the leaf. So I would just go right in, and I wouldn't go into the center. I would drop it down a little bit, do a little sketch line, and then make it come off to the side like so. Make it a little bit more pronounced, and then make the sketchy lines like so. Right there, I know that's the center point of all those ideas as far as the leaves are concerned. Now, after I got that going, I would go for the main leaf that's coming off first. So I would do this one here, and do a basic shape of what that looks like. You see? And come back in here, the thing. And then now I would put the stem in the middle. Or the vein in the middle. You see? And that's how I would start that off. You see, the other one is touching a little bit. So then now I would say, where would the other one come from on here? You see, and then now I would make that leaf and get rid of that, but then I would make the stem come out first. You see, and then after I got the stem, then I can fill in with the leaf structure. Yeah, there you go. And you're mimicking the movement of each leaf in there that you can. And what you're noticing is that they're not going all the way inside here. They stop around here, but then the stem comes out from this area, you see. And now we have this one coming out this way. You see, and it's a lot of guesstimations that you're going to do, everybody, but they're fun guesstimations. That's where perfection is a lie, repetition is the truth. You see, so then now you can see where this leaf over here collapses over top of this one and it curves away. You see, and then now I will put that line going into the stem like so. And then now it curves off on the other side here, you see? And then I would put it in that area. All guesstimations. You see, and if you notice, I'm pretty much guessing the whole thing, but it's based upon how these items are set up. You can say this leaf we're about to do is pointing in the 6 o'clock position if you wanted to. And I would take it down, you see? Stop it, make it thicker because that's the stem. So now I know where my stem is, right? And then now where the leaves come from, the rest of the leaf is just like on the other side here. It overlaps itself. It's touching the next one next to it, you see? And then now it comes this way and it does that same waving type of idea. And this side does the same thing, but it opens up a little bit more, going towards the stem a little bit more, then it collapses inward. You see that? Going towards the base of the stem there. So now we got 4 of those in there. Now, if we look directly across from this one, we have one going up almost in a perfect 6 o'clock situation. From 12 o'clock, one straight up to the 6 o'clock, you see? And then what is it doing? It's connecting right about here, but then let's get the stem in. The stem is thicker at its base, and then it thins out, going towards the end of the leaf. You see it in the same movement again. We do this movement, it's touching here, and you basically make a makeshift shape for that leaf. Stem is here, and then now this side does this idea, and then cuts back in. Well, it's not that wide, so it cuts back in and does a curve there. Curve here. Now we got what? 3 more leaves to do. See that? Yeah, went on. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we got 3 more leaves to do on that side. So then I'm gonna start with the one that comes from underneath here, but you don't see that stem in this connection. Underneath this one here, the main stem, and it comes out this way. And it's a smaller one. So then now that leaf is, yep, right here. It's doing this and then this. And then it goes underneath. And then it comes round and it comes back in. Yeah, it's probably a little bit thinner than that based upon where I got it placed at, but that's the basic idea. Yeah, we got it. And we got two more that comes out of here. So we got one and then the two right there. Yeah, there it is. Because they all sit next to one another. And they're folding downward, they're wilting downward away from us because the face of the leaf is face down. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even this side can come in a little bit more. So I'm gonna change the line on this side on mine. Make it a little bit darker so I can see it. And now I'm happy with that one there. All right, touches there. Yep. All right, now this one here is in here. The stem is going this way. Yep. Boom. Right there. Not that wide, but we like that little whimsical stuff. Then we make that leaf come in here and it starts to do that wavering stuff. Yeah, there we go. And then now this one comes out and then back in and then out and then back in and then curves. And then now we have our last one in there. Yep, that's doing this right in between here. And then that one's actually broken at the tip. Touches here and goes in here. Yeah, it goes up a little bit and it's broken off. And then it comes out here, makes that shape there, a little bit of that wavering, then back in. And then we got our leaf there, basic leaf shape. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So now what I did was I covered the whole space with the leaf. But now what you do is you come back in. This is where it becomes tedious now with the abstract idea. Now you're going to be making up based upon what you've seen in there, those rocks and the rhythm of those rocks, the size of those rocks. You can try to make it exactly like what you see, or you can do an idea like how I'm doing. You take a couple of those shapes that you're seeing, and then now you start to spread those out and around. So some of them are oblong, some of them are rounder and smaller.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they're not perfectly round shapes, you see. So then now that's what I'm doing. I'm putting together a bunch of shapes. And now you see the daunting task of this one that you picked. The daunting task now is putting this rock all in these areas in here.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So I start even, and now I'm not even looking at the rock with the moss on it that's on the left-hand corner. I'm not even worried about that. I'm not worried about the lime green leaf that's growing. You see that on that lower left-hand side there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worrying about none of that. I'm gonna fill all of that in since you said abstract with this idea or this makeshift shape of the stones or these pebble stones or whatever we want to say it, walkway or, natural walkway because of the terrain where he was at. Now I'm just going to put these oblong looking rocks all in there.
Mm-hmm.
Different sizes, not too many small ones, not worried about trying to be perfect, just trying to worry about filling in space, you see, with that design that I'm seeing, making sure I'm not using the same size rocks or bubbles, and going right to the edge of the leaf in there. You see how I did that?
Mm-hmm.
You see, so that's why I say we don't worry about what something is going to look like. We worry about more so what is our journey going to be for the day.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because if you worry about the journey on the day, the look is going to come.
Mm-hmm.
It has no choice. The look or the appearance of what you're doing has to come. Whether your audience recognizes it or not is the other issue. Some will, some won't. Just take it on the chin and just keep going. You see how I'm doing, everybody. You fill in the space, making a certain bubble. It can be faster. I can move faster or I can move slower. It's up to you. What's your intent with your piece today, everybody? You know, is it feeling like stone over here on mine? Kind of, sort of, you know. Put some half ones in there, some real small ones, but you want to mix it up. You don't want to do everything, symmetrical, sequential. You know, you're trying to make an asymmetrical idea, which means that it's in a state of being not imbalance, but a state of another state of balance that's called imbalance. Neither right nor wrong, everybody. Once you start to really get to going with this, there is no right and wrong. It is only what is. Especially when you're doing this like this, because this is very well, like how you said, feels abstract. It almost feels like it can be a stained glass piece. That's real
Wow.
popular nowadays.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, like I've seen people take actual leaves or natural fibers and things, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then pound them out and then utilize them actually in stained glass. So if you
Mm.
ever seen that, everybody, it's a beautiful thing to see too. So stained glass, this can be a stained glass design. That's what a lot of single line stuff is being, made into at one point, because you're trying to look for different ways on how to utilize your artwork for the population to partake in, so you can have life, you see, or you're doing it because it makes you feel good and you have enough support, you know what I mean? Philanthropy, many ways for you to have financial support, but you're not putting that pressure on your art. It's on everything else. And okay, you'll have a different thought process than I would
Mm-hmm.
about, going to the marketplace and saying, well, I would like for you to buy this for a certain amount of money on the market because I'm trying to sustain life with what it is that I'm doing by hand.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So I don't know how you're seeing that on the screen. Oh yeah, all right, I see it on the computer there. There we go. Yeah. It looks like you guys are seeing that pretty good. Yeah? Yeah, Nadine, or no?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All right. That's why I
Looking
like the
good on my
Sharpie
end.
too. The Sharpie makes it so that on the screen you can see it pretty good. Not like the pencil. Sometimes with the pencil, you're gonna have to get a zoom going on. So zoom
Mm-hmm.
in rather. Yeah, you just keep on filling in, the rocks and the sequential or asymmetrical movement of the rocks. How random are they? How random can you make us feel this movement of the rocks? Like look at some of the areas where the rocks are and try to move your circles and things in those type of ways. You're not making a perfect circle. Make it oblong, like how you see some of the rocks there that look like Flintstones and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do some smaller ones around there, but then fill in the space with one that may be triangular looking. You see me like this. Look, I'm gonna put one of those here, one of those ideas. And then now what you would do is you put the smaller ones around it. You see medium sized ones and small to fill in the spaces, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you do that on a micro and macro stage, then it starts to look like it even more. You see, we didn't even talk about the leaves yet. Like, you got to put the ribs on the leaves or the other veins on the leaves, like so. So what I would do is just make a basic shape that feels like that, and then look at that movement. Would I worry about the absolute number? Like, am I going to get the right number of ribs in there? No, I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about, does it look like a leaf?
Mm-hmm.
You see, or did it utilize the most out of the shapes? so I can make it even more abstract than what it is on the screen now. You see? And then I can come back around the edge of that and make it more dark. You see? Or make it more consistent of a line. You see, and then now that whole area starts to pop out. You see, all I want to make sure I got going on is the movement of the ribs of the leaf. You see, because then once you get the movement right, everything else makes it make sense. You see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see it. I'm using like these quasi slanted oval shapes. Because, fluid once ran through these to give nutrients and buoyancy to that leaf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what you're mimicking, what used to be there and what once was. It can be almost like a timepiece at that point. Then you see it, oh boy, mine's is looking real abstract. Yeah, I like it.
What you said sounds so poetic.
What you mean?
That fluid once ran through it.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you're thinking about that when, I guess, in the creative process.
Yeah, you got to. Because it's hollow
translate.
in there and it's looking the way that it's looking because of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that it's making this by chance. Nah, this leaf is making this shape based upon what it once was.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the human body. You know what I mean? It's the same idea. Your human body does the same thing. If you don't keep on track on the fluids, then you dehydrate. Even in the cold, everybody, you'll dehydrate. Because remember, cold fusion is like hot fusion.
Mm-hmm.
It burns either way. Yeah, and that's good to know. If you ever knew, if somebody didn't know about cold fusion and what that is, it's just, a colder way of burning something or welding something together.
Mm-hmm.
Can you use the cold to do that? Well, yes. Don, how do you know? I say to everybody, go online and look at cold fusion. And then you'll see that that's a process within science and engineering and architecture and metallurgy and all this good stuff. And that all comes from just, doing a drawing, everybody. You find out what the stuff is and you go for it, you see? So if you notice where I'm going, I'm almost, how would you say, done with this puppy. As far as the draftsmanship is concerned, putting those stones in, making them feel random. You see, that's the whole thing. Want to make it feel random. You don't want to make it seem like, your rocks has an absolute sequence to it. No, that's not cool. It's that variety, that movement of, the placement of those rocks that fell randomly that made this leaf fall randomly. So when Nadine came up on it, she saw the beauty that was there and took the shot.
Yep, it was so captivating to me.
Mm-hmm. The overlaps that there, look at all the overlaps that attracted you.
Mm-hmm.
The overlap of the leaf over top of the stone, the juxtapositioning and the overlapping of the stones on one another, you see. Because some of them are laying on this side, that's why you got thinner looking ones, Then some of them are laying flat round, face up to you. You got smaller ones and you have little pebbles, little glass ones in there, it looks like, And I would use those smaller ones to go inside and just, make the smaller ones, you see, all in there. Now, this is where with this one, I would say, man, what do I want to fill in with?
It's almost meditative.
Well, it has to be. It's almost Zen-like, you know what I mean? Has that whole breeze feel like when you're drawing with sand.
Mm-hmm.
It's a repetition of the strokes. That's why I brought up the stained glass thing, because it feels the same way when you're working with stained glass. There's a certain rhythmic movement that you start to take on to get things to go.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to watch yourself for the idea of wanting to make things balanced as a human being when you want random. You see, the minute that I don't think about that random, about using the couple of sizes and some of the stones and pebbles that I did make, making those again, replicating them again. Say, for instance, you get an area that looks real good, and take some of those shapes of the stones that you did over there, like how I did in here, and then move them around, use them, replicate them, duplicate them, do them again. You can notice from the ones that I did in the beginning, and now the ones I'm starting to do even more, they're starting to look more like the stones when I look at them. Why? Because at first when I was doing it, I had sort of like a clue, but I didn't really. After about the 100th one of these circles that I'm making, now I started to pay more attention to what the stone look is, you see?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm suggesting to you. You're looking for those things. And that's why we did the leaf first, so we can put the stone underneath. But then if you have a sketch and wash pencil, watercolor pencil, you can use your graphite in this too as well to color in. Because that's what all I was going to start talking about, the possibilities on how you use the Sharpie marker, because it's real resilient. It doesn't relieve itself off the page when you add other liquids to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes it may disperse when you put anything that's alcohol based on top of it, then the marker may disperse a little bit. But what I find is if you spray that with your fixative, and it works better with the hairspray than it does the actual artwork fixative that you can buy. Same material, just a different consistency. So I use it just for hair, Aquanet,
Just
and
for hair.
stuff like that. Yeah. And I
It's
use
not
that.
just for hair.
Right. You see. So then now what happens is if you don't watch out, if you spray too much, that'll make the marker bleed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want that, you just spritz it a little bit and hold the can about a good 10 inches away rather than being real close.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to saturate the page at that point. You just want to put a light brisk dusting of it on there. And then when you have it, then that's when you can come back in with your other markers that may be alcohol based, and then you can color in with those if you wanted to. If you're using watercolors, you don't have nothing to worry about with the Sharpie marker. If you have the water soluble pencil, like how I'm suggesting, you'll have nothing to worry about. That marker won't break down. You see? So, most of these areas in here are dark, but now I'm gonna really make it so that I'm gonna say where that is. And now instead of just making it dark, I'm gonna put the pebbles in there.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever I'm saying that's going to be. Excuse me, because all the rest is going to be the veins in the leaf itself. You see? So now I come back and, just with the marker, just slide it right in. You see? Those bubbles, those little oblong bubbles, if you want to call them stone shapes, however you want to call them, everybody, you want to build them up and let them accumulate. And the thing that I like about doing stones a lot of times pebbles like this, is because it doesn't seem like any overlapping is going down. If you look
Right.
at the stones, it looks like everything is sitting next to one another. But what's really happening is that the stones are turning on its side and everything else like that, giving you the different size stone appearances that you see. And each one is holding its own space or own quadrant if you look at it. Each area has some interesting rocks that you can steal from everybody. Me, I just looked at one or two and just went. And now I started looking at more and I'm going more. Now I'm trying to decide if I want to go off the page with it, you see, or do I want to stop right at the edge of the page, you see. If you're doing these, like I'm doing this 18 by 24, everybody, the demonstration for you. If you're doing it smaller than this and you have a scanner at home, scan it in before you put any color in. So then this way you can buy the smaller pieces of watercolor paper or cardstock and send that through your printer and print on top of that. And then you can do watercolor and acrylics with this as a template underneath. You also can print it out in blue. If you print it out in blue on a thicker piece of paper, then that's where you know you're definitely going to be using acrylic paint or a heavier watercolor or gouache on top. Because the blue will just, blend right in with everything that you're doing. It's a sky blue too, what they call replo blue. It's like a highlighter blue. And if you notice some of the adult coloring books, I have that, the higher end ones, or it'll be in gray.
Like comic books.
Like well, yeah, if you ever saw a sheet of a comic book that was about to be inked in back in the day,
right.
then yeah.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, it'll have gray, it'll be grayed down a little bit, you know what I mean? Or it'll be done with a blue repro marker. And then when you see it like that, then it goes to the next stage to the inkers, the people that, ink the colors and stuff. So I was fortunate to learn all sides of that trade. And that's why it helps me in these times now that I'm in. Because to understand that process, that's all that this is right here. Except for we don't have any blue lines. The repro lines is in our mind and our hand is following. And we're looking at the picture and just sketching the picture with our eyes, pretty much. And the more and more you do that, the more and more you'll get close to understanding, basic shapes of things and how to simplify things to your need. And then you'll be able to use them. So another good idea, everybody, with your drawing is to scan it into the computer, everybody. Especially when it's black and white or graphic image like what we're doing right now. No cross-hatching or nothing just yet, just filling in space to get this whole feeling of that space and that idea in the picture. You see? And I think I'm starting to get it over in here. I got it over on this side. You want to get that naturalistic, asymmetric idea going. But it could be symmetrical. You got 8 leaves. So 8 is symmetry, is balance. That's infinity. You can go into all what 8 or what the numbers mean at that point.
The power of 8.
Yeah, what does that mean? It's only 0 to 10, they say. And then everything cycles over again. So a lot of people are not going to understand that. I'm sorry for bringing that out. But if you look it up online, they'll tell you, numerically speaking, there's only 0 to 10, and everything is a replication of those digits and those numbers. Yep. Excuse me for talking art, everybody.
We are so sorry for talking art.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what happens. We just get started and it just comes out.
Yeah, buddy. That's because it's a natural thing for a human being to want to talk and express what they talk. But yeah, look at that. You see it, and I come in here and do it for the rest of it. You know, I can make some extra lines in there if I want. The main thing is does it feel like a leaf? You know, and that's the only thing I'm concerned with. Does it feel like the leaf? Did I use all the movements of the leaf that's there? You see, there's certain movements that's there that you can take advantage of. You know, it almost looks like a big old, you know, elephant ear, but I know the elephant ear is not this species of tree. You know, you see that, everybody? Yeah. So pretty much what the stone is doing is silhouetting the leaf here. And you can really notice by the way the ribs are moving, you can take advantage of the implied movement that's there. You know, like in this one, they're elongated because of the way the leaf is drying. So it's drying with those leaves stiffening out and going downward away from you. You see, yeah, on an angle like that. Yeah. You see, yeah, 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 yeah. There we go. Yeah, that's that side. Now this side punches over the other way, the curve downward in the same space where those leaves is coming, where those veins are coming from. Oh yeah, got it, got it, got it. Let's see. Oh yeah, now it's going downward even more. So all I want to do is mimic that idea. And you can come back and then do some things that enhance those areas. That's where the sketch and wash pencil comes into play. You see, yeah, should almost be done, everybody. The drawing pretty much soon. You know, if you're not overthinking it, did you go backwards and start overthinking it again, Nadine?
I tried not to.
All right. Try to simplify your thought. Try to simplify how many different shapes you're going to use for the stones, how many different sizes you're going to use. Don't get impatient and make them real giant stones, you know what I mean? They're not huge stones, they're pebble-like and they're a little bit bigger than just a pebble. You might be able to get two of those together with some of those. Like I see one that's over here near this leaf. I'm gonna do this one real big because of that one. It's kind of like that bluish color. Yeah, there you go. And then it has like this yellowish one that's right next to it here. And then now we do all these smaller ones in here now around that. Yep, there you go. You see how it fills in pretty quick? Yeah, got it. I like that. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my coffee now. Yeah. Yeah. You know, can you see that pretty good, everybody? Or am I blocking the light in there? Maybe I'm blocking the light. Uh-oh. Yeah, there we go. Come on, Mr. Light. That's the other easel that I had in the background. Body in the light. Yeah. Next time I'll use more daylight lamps. That's what that is too. I'm using one that's more so like that candlelight or warm daylight one. Need the one where it's just all the white light or the blue light
Gotcha.
spectrum. That's the one you really want that says daylight. The one that doesn't, you know, I got a couple of bulbs up there. Ooh, yeah, look at that on the screen. My goodness. Oh,
It's
yeah.
popping.
Yeah, it's popping. Those little small circles made it jump. Yeah, it made it jump. And now you see the juxtaposition of those smaller circles with that. You know, that's what you want to look for, everybody. You know, and if you look at what I got going on and looking at the picture, we're pretty close. So you should be pretty close to everybody. Notice I didn't worry about being exact to the leaf and being exact and perfect to the leaf and all this crazy stuff. You know, what you can say is I had we're having what you would call it a representational exploration, or how would you say? Hold on now. I
Mhm.
need my coffee to get me straight. I'll come back to
Get your
that thought,
coffee.
Nadine. Let me go get that
All
coffee.
right.
I'll be right back. Keep creating, everybody.
Yeah, everybody keep creating.
Keep going, keep doing. Like y'all can hear me in the background, but I can't hear y'all because I don't have the headphones on. That's how good that nano mic is.
Yeah, you got the good mic. Yeah, so I'm working my way through it too, trying to be free. I got to be free.
Yes, sir, Yvonne.
With these lines. See here. Ooh. So I'm trying to work that in. Let's see. This one looks like it's. I have that right. So how's everyone doing? If you're watching this in the rebroadcast, we appreciate when you say hi by texting hi and telling us, what do you think about this week's journey? I mean, this is truly a journey here. So how do you feel about this?
Baking soda in mine today, everybody.
Yeah, he's putting that baking soda in it. Let's see here. So definitely leave something in the comment section. How do you feel about this journey with the leaf laying on the stones? We love to hear from you. I'm trying to be whimsical, like Don suggests. Just let it go. Let it go, let it go. Probably should like that. I'm trying to get that stroke. Get that stroke going. Yeah. Woo, I can feel it. There you go. I'm just gonna let it flow. I'm letting it flow, letting it go. I think, I don't know. Do I need to, yeah, something like that. Yeah, because my lines, they need to come into here. All right. I'm just gonna let it go. Letting it go. Yeah. I don't know. There's some mess going on over there. I'm just gonna let it be what it is. I'm gonna let it be what it is, everybody. I don't know. Here, I started in this section, but I think I got better with the stones over here. I'm gonna wait for Don to tell me what he thinks about it. And but I'm trying to put the ribbing in the leaves right now. So I like to start from the top. I feel like it's better. So seems like it goes like that, like that. Yeah. You know, doing this with these markers is something. It's quite the
The only
journey.
bad thing about putting a baking soda in, everybody, is sometimes it puts that baking soda taste in the back of your throat there.
Oh, so
So that's why you put the creamer. You can't take that taste. That's why you put the creamer.
Oh, okay.
But what I was saying was, this is more so, how would we say, this is not an exact interpretation. This is what you would call a representation or an emotional interpretation. You see what I mean? That we're doing.
Mhm.
Because then that leads into the whole objective and subjective. So is
Mhm.
everything objective? No, because once you put it on paper, it's all abstract.
Mhm.
Even when you're trying to be slightly representational, like how we're doing, we're trying to exactly show you that it's a leaf and stone there.
Mhm.
What happened is you as the audience viewing, your imagination or your psychology may take over and take it someplace else. But nonetheless, you have the subjective and objective modes, you know, your precise idea, you know what I mean? And then your emotional idea. You see the how we say duality that's going down that we're talking about now.
Yeah, I definitely do.
That's all it is, you know what I mean? And that's what they're talking about.
Mhm.
Like even when you see something that's really highly done, like it's very photo realistic, it's still abstract.
Mm. I never thought of it like that, Don.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought, everybody, you see the work and they'll say, oh, this is a realistic drawing.
yeah, but is it absolutely the place? No, so it's abstract.
Woo!
Yeah, everything you make is going to be abstract. It's just the point of view that you take, your intent.
Right.
Do you want us to be able to be objectively able to understand what it is you're doing, or subjectively?
Mm.
You know, and these are some of the principles or ideas of art. If you
Mhm.
look into it, that's what it's about. What's the psychological aspects of those edges? What would be the psychological aspect of looking at a leaf drying out, Well, for some of us being over 50 in the crowd right now, that could mean a lot of bad things to us, you know? You know
Right.
what I mean? But to me, being over 50 just means I might need some water in my life. That leaf
Right.
looks real dry. I would rather, saturate that leaf, put some lotion on or something.
Right.
You see, some cocoa butter, some shea butter, some Vaseline, something, you know what I mean? Saturate the skin.
Or could it just be that there's a time and a season for everything?
That's another aspect of looking at it too, as well. You see what I mean? Like, what could this psychologically mean to people when you see a leaf and pebbles? I look at the pebbles, I start thinking about, how would you say therapeutic stuff,
Hmm.
for your feet and to make your feet stronger because it's a known fact in our society now. Humans' feet are at the weakest, especially in a Western civilization, because we don't walk over, surfaces like that no more.
Right.
That gives your toes, strength and independent strength. You know what I mean? So yeah, think about it. Ours is encased in a enclosing, moist and dark. You know what I mean?
Moist and dark.
Yeah, and now you're always seeking comfort. You don't want any jaggedness on your foot, none of that. But that jaggedness and stuff like that hits the pressure points on your foot and sends different sensations up and down the legs, man, for you to keep your legs strong and keep the muscles strong and stable.
Yeah, but come on. No man wants his wife's feet to be rough like sandpaper.
It depends upon where you at. From what I've seen, if you go to other countries, like you go into certain provinces in Africa, certain provinces in the Caribbean, South America, even in the European Isle, when you get away from the populated spaces and places, if you look, a lot of people ain't worried about what it looks like from the ankle down.
Right.
It's only over here in the westernized civilization and, Paris, some marketplaces in Europe, you know what I mean? But other than that, nah, they just look at the cleanliness of it, it needs to be clean.
Hmm.
We the ones that start looking at all these other factors
That's true. I'm
because
just
there's
saying. I'm just saying.
no, I'm with you. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? The
Uh,
same thing, basically, like, it's they look at it as a utility. Your feet is a utility.
right.
It's not to be adorned and looked at as beautiful and all this stuff that we go through in the Westernized civilizations.
Right.
Because now we don't have a purpose for our feet for just walking and moving and transport.
Right.
That's it. You know what I mean? And then you throw the other part in there. Well, whose feet looks more masculine and whose feet looks more feminine? And all these other things come into place. Whereas if you go to these other places that we just talked about, they ain't talking about it like that.
Right.
They don't even look at your feet like that. They say, "Oh my God, when are you going to clean them?" You know what I'm saying? I've noticed that. They say, "Oh my God, you need to clean your feet." Because if you're walking around in sandals all day, right, and you were walking around in a quasi dirty, dusty environment,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
the first
like,
thing that, yeah.
yeah, like even in Philly, when you see people walking around in your cities,
Mm-hmm.
they don't real. A lot of people don't realize it, but they put all that lotion and stuff on your feet, and you put on sandals. What's going to happen? Within an hour's time, your feet are going to start looking black.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the soot in the air and then the dirt that's loose next to the ground is going to be attracted by that moisture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, you know, what are you talking about? The back of your ankles, the back of your foot, the heel of your foot. It'll dry out if you don't put on the right, you know what I mean, moisturizer. Now
Right.
you're looking crazy. In our society, you're looking crazy, but in other societies, no.
Right. You're right about that.
You know, so yeah.
And henceforth the feet washing, going
Mhm.
into certain places and you got to wash your feet.
Yeah, that's
Rinse
why
your
it's a
feet.
big thing. Biblically, that's why it was a big thing to wash feet too,
Right. Because
because
of
they
how
didn't
you
look.
travel.
Yeah, if you got sandals on all day, they didn't have socks like we got.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have polyester oil-made fabrics that repel things like we got. They dealt more with natural fibers. Natural fibers absorb things. It's a known fact.
Mm-hmm.
And that the reason why it does that is because it's snatching things naturally away from the body that cause the body harm, you know, moisture, microbes, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the dirt that's coming from the body, you know. So, you know, that's why, you know, they don't look at the feet the way we look at it. We look at it like it's like almost like your nose.
Yep.
It's like, oh my God, what's the matter with your toe? Why is it leaned over like that? It's like, because it was being used to death. Yeah. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
it's supposed to be.
All right. Now, if it's overlapping the second toe, yeah, I agree with you. That's kind of messed up. It looks like a bondage situation, a
Mhm.
Chinese or Japanese geisha girl thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bonding of your toes.
And
But
it's
that's
not
what
even
we,
them. You can go in some of the rural countries
well, that's what I
and
was going to say, because we do it to ourselves.
mm-hmm.
We'll make shoes, you know what I mean? Like if you look at the on the other side of the Mediterranean, you look at all the shoes, and now you go into the European aisle. This is where you start seeing those funny looking toes that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
In the Americas too, because we wear shoes that bond, the leather, the wood bottoms, things like this. Yeah, the ultimate reason why we used to walk around barefoot is because of the connection and the grounding to the natural earth that we coming from.
Right.
And it's a known fact now. Don's not talking funny art stuff now, tree hugger stuff. That's what people be telling me sometimes. Oh, here comes Don with that tree hugger, tree bark eating, you know what I mean, philosophy. I'm like, well, it's not mine. It's historical.
Mhm.
It's just a known fact. If you walk around barefooted, you know, you have a different connection and de-escalation of the body on the earth. You know, you're taking in certain vibrations, you're letting out vibrations, you know, the coolness of the ground or the warmth of the ground. Sometimes the stones themselves, they'll hit certain pressure points in your foot and relieve pain, you know. That's why if you look around in certain high-end stores now,
Mhm.
they'll have a makeshift pebble design like this
Mm-hmm.
made out of hard plastic or something,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can stand on and walk on to get that to how would you say, to simulate that idea in natural nature. That sounded like a double redundant when I said that, but you
Mm-hmm.
know, in nature,
Simulate.
everybody. Yeah, it simulates nature. So what happens is the roundness and the variations of the rocks, and you're standing on them and flexing and moving your foot. It's the stones are actually, tapping your nervous system.
Mhm.
So it helps to bring relief and stuff to your whole system based upon all your nerve endings go through your feet and your hands.
You'll see that on massage chairs.
Yeah. Yeah. You see the studded part on a massage chair or the portable little massages, you'll see little studs on the bottoms of them. So they can penetrate a little bit deeper into the muscle to where that nerve ending may be based upon vibration or
And
electrodes.
are they meridians?
Yes, well, the meridians too. Yeah, that's all the nerve ending meridians and hand meridians and veins and all of that. So you're soothing and helping to relax those things too as well, because you got smaller muscles that go in between all your joints in your hand and your feet. But then all your nerve endings come from the spine through that, wrap around a leg in a figure eight, and come down to the bottom of your foot and then goes back. That's why, in Asian philosophy, the what's that they do with the knee? Acupuncture. That's why
Acupuncture.
acupuncture
Yeah.
works. Yeah. Because that's the meridian idea. This is the same idea along that too as well. Yeah.
Have you had acupuncture before?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Right down to Chinatown and did it.
right.
You know what I mean?
I've had it too. You know what's the worst?
What's that?
When they stick the needle in your baby toe or your or the I have to demonstrate on here's my hand right here.
Yeah.
Woo, when it goes in there, but
Yeah,
it does wonders.
yeah, because that's a spot where a lot of pressure accumulates because of the way that we're made. And then you're not aware to release that tension in there, it builds up. And then that's what they're releasing with the acupuncture. They're releasing that deep-seated, tension that's in the muscle and in the tendon that you, as a lay person or an everyday person, doesn't know, like, won't go past the regular, massaging techniques with your hands to get that relieved and gone. And then now you'll go to the doctor thinking you have a liver issue, or maybe it's just, a outer muscle layer issue.
Right. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I mean, our bodies are amazing.
Yeah, that's why I study it all the time. Excuse me for that, everybody. That's why I take the term "know thine self" so deeply. It's known in every religious text, spiritual text known to us as human beings, and it always tells you, "Know thyself, know thyself," and that means just not just, you know what I mean, the surface stuff. We're talking about the innards now. You got to know that inside stuff.
Right.
What makes your stomach move? What makes your liver work? Does the liver really make your alkalize your water or the fluids in the body?
Now, I will have to say, I need to know more and understand more about it. I think I grow to understand it more when stuff starts going wrong in my body. Or should I say,
that's what we normally do as humans. Yeah.
It starts screaming, pay attention to me. And then I have to say, okay, what's going on? And then start Googling and looking up books to read more about it.
Yeah, or paying more attention to what excretes and what flows and happens to your body. See, a lot of us don't do that. You just don't pay attention to it because we're groomed to say, oh, somebody else is supposed to look out for it. I'm just supposed to maintain the surface and keep it functional with energy. Well, that can be questioned now. Because if you follow that, we have a lot of people that had malfunction of the form. So then now you have to look and say, okay, well, how much more deeper does it say that I have to go? Well, what exactly is a vitamin C? And is an amino acid? What's a protein? And what does that mean for my body? Not for everybody's, but what about mine's first? And then I can worry about everybody else's. And that's how that works. How many times a day should I excrete or alleviate myself of solid matter?
Yeah. And if you're not over a long period of time, something's wrong.
Right, that lets you know. But then, is there a certain amount of times a day that it has to be done? You know what I mean? If it is, then what is that number? You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then these are some of the things that a lot of people, even more so now, we don't look at. You know what I mean? And those are the things that knowing thyself is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Before you can even get to, the herbs heal, you know what I mean? Before you even get to that, you got to get to knowing, your body first. Am I dehydrated or am I hungry? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference,
What is
And
my body saying to me?
yeah, what is my body language? You know what I mean? Flesh management, as I call it.
Flesh management. I like that. Flesh
Yeah, flesh
management.
management. That's what it is. Because you're managing what goes in your mouth, what goes in your form to maintain it, to keep it moving and to keep it animated.
Mm-hmm.
You don't follow some of those suggestions and things that's already out there from time immemorial, then yeah, non-animation is where you're moving for. And then after that point, it's like, all right, well, how long do I want to stay animated?
Mm-hmm.
I want to I want to live to 90. All right, but do I want to live to 90 and have a pamper on and, not have
Ooh.
good teeth and things like this? I have to have dentures and stuff. I argued with somebody one time. They said, "Oh, you're supposed to lose all your teeth." I said, "No, you're not. That's not, hereditary for you to lose all your teeth.
I mean,
No,
sometimes it happens, but
I mean, I see this is where I get in trouble, but no, it's not supposed to happen like
it's
that.
not supposed to just happen.
No, your teeth just don't fall out your head like it's
So,
like, no. The only time it does that is when the other ones are pushing down
right.
to come forth. And then after that, those are your set teeth. You don't get any
Mm-hmm.
more.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? So all that they're supposed to fall out. No, that's why they put more, things and preservatives in your industrial project or products so that they're not saying that you have to eat them, but they make it darn delectable for you not to eat them, and then it's on you if you get rid of the sugar and the gum line and all this other stuff, and get the sugar out of your blood and all this good stuff, and then how much water do you drink on a day opposed to other things that are especially sodas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of people try to debate that idea, but I'll be like, well, why is there a industry first? And why is that beverage industry dominated by, carbonated drinks?
Mm.
And then some people you gotta go, oh, all right, you don't know what carbonated means. Okay, let's hit you with it, soda. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
all right, why did the Delaware Valley, Philadelphia, being the main one, impose a sugar tax?
Mm.
You see, they didn't even want the marijuana tax. They saw it as, nah, we hit them with that sugar. And sugar is in everything. And you know what I mean? Everything they want got sugar in it.
Right.
The creamer I get has sugar in it. The price goes up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Think about everything that has sugar in it, and you look on the back of it, and you'll see why. So that's not no conspiracy theory. That's just what is. We in the West have a disposition for salty and how would you say, sweet taste.
Mm-hmm.
You want it, gotta have it. You make it, you might become a millionaire overnight. You know what I mean? You make a good
Yeah.
cookie.
It's addictive.
Yeah, you make a good pie, a good cookie in your neighborhood, and you're willing to make it for others. Ooh, you'll become a millionaire overnight, man. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself. You have people knocking on your door strange times of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was wondering if you had any more cookies. I said, man, I just sold you some the other day. But that's the way it would be, you know what I mean? So just look at the internet and see what dominates, you know. You know, people want to know things about sexuality, and they definitely want to know where the sugars are. You know what I mean? And if you look at what dominates on the internet for what people search for, that'll make you even more of an understanding, have a good understanding of what it is we're loosely talking about. And if you go back in time, there were wars over sugar, women, salt, and spices. We ain't even talked about the oil and stuff yet. We just talking about sugar, spices, not even silver and gold yet. There were wars. If you go back and search world history, there were wars over salt, a lot of wars over women, the how would you say, the control and the having of women, you know what I mean? And sugar and spices. Literal wars on the seas over it.
Sugar and spice and everything nice.
There you go. But we as humans, you know, we desire it. You know, do we have to have it? No, because it's already in the fruits and vegetables that you may eat, but we gotta have it. You know, we want that flavonoid. But it's that same flavonoid that does that. So knowing thyself, basically, you know, and then where that connects in what we're doing, everybody, is knowing why things are happening or having an idea on why things are happening based upon your observations. I mean, every scientist does it, you know what I mean? Everything on this planet, as far as we're concerned, is based upon observation. You know, how do we look at this particular phenomenon to say that, wow, that guy stopped moving, he's frozen, you know what I mean? And what that may be, you know. But it's all based upon observation, like how we're doing, you know, observing the shapes, seeing how they mingle. This can be a numerology thing, you know what I mean?
Or it could.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys in statistics, you know what I mean? This is where these guys would look at a scene like this and say, well, what's the number of how many rocks are turned sideways? What's the number of rocks that are, you know, that make this scene small? And then you see you doing all those statistics to understand the scene even more, to borrow from it. This is how a lot of things is done. Mathematics is there, you know. Is this an even scene or odd scene? You know what I mean? And in mathematics, they have equations where you can figure out all that stuff. Or you can figure it out by eye. That's what the human being is masterful at. Guesstimations. You see? Yeah, look at that. Now I'm just going to start speeding it up so I can fill in space faster. And then use the patterns that was effective down below.
So above.
Huh?
Down below, so above.
Yes, as above, so below, so as out, so within.
Yeah.
Yep. This is where all those ideas come from. The understanding and the observation of nature. Just think about it. After everybody got past a point of understanding how to say survive, then you started having different individuals go off into society or go off into nature by themselves, rather, and explore these different ideas. Why? Because there was enough individuals around that they could work with that handle certain aspects that you got to look at on the day. Like, think about it. We're able to do this drawing now. Why? Because society is built a certain way. So we're not caught in hunter-gatherer mode where I got to go to the lake, or I need to be on the plow pushing the oxen to make the oxen plow the ground. Then Nadine, and you would be with a group of women. This is how it used to be. You would be out gathering herbs and berries, roots. Yeah, and all that good stuff. And then a certain other part of us before we got the plow together would go out on bands of hunting bands. So we would go out as a clique of 20 individuals. Some of those may be young men that's just about to become men. So now we got the teenagers out there doing their rites of passage, going hunting for food. You see what I'm saying? So all this stuff is relative. It all comes back. It's all one. We just have to understand how it's applied in our day to day. You know what I mean? So do we go out and hunt and gather? No, but we know how to survey a supermarket or a food court to be able to say what should be in my system and what shouldn't be. You know. So, yeah.
But then that desire to have something sugary and sweet comes into play.
Well, yeah, that's the flesh management that we're trying to battle. The same thing with alcohol and all the other things that are highly, addictive to the human form. You see, I'm one of those. I don't really blame it too bad on the human being, but I just say flesh is weak, and we got to have better flesh management. That's all. Watching what you put in your mouth, watching how much of it you put in your mouth, have a sweet, you need to have something to wash it down, some water or something, not something else sugary. But not a lot of us adhere to that. We'll knock it down with something sugary and then try to figure out why is my mouth all mucusy. Yeah, why do I have this saliva in my mouth like this? Well, that's the sugar, my friend. That's the sugar. Yeah, but see, just like we put these basic shapes in, we fill the space with them. Turn them sideways. You can turn the page sideways if you want to. Goes down real quick. What time we got? It's almost 12 o'clock.
Yeah, it's almost 12 o'clock.
Yeah, you see how fast that goes, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even get to showing the sketch and watch pencil idea, so you can get to the powdered graphite if you have that. All right, maybe we'll color it in next week. I don't know.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, it's up to you guys. I could, we can color it in real quick, but maybe we'll talk about that next week and do another one of those. Maybe we'll do the tree one with the tree bark looking like it's going up into the central axis of the page.
Yeah, I found that I just sat there and looked at it when I was there.
Understanding perspective and surface. So line, shape, form, line, and surface once again.
It was so
that's all that's at work. Yeah, you stood real close to it and you looked up. So you can feel the phenomenon of up. But then you can also see how nature makes its own, surfaces. Based upon the surface of that trunk, you got a lot of movement. That's what makes those striations in the trunks. The swaying back and forth that we don't pay attention to that tree is doing all day.
Right.
And then now as it's growing, it's building up that husk on the trunk, that bark. And then now some of it falls off, but then it stays, and then the skin gets tougher and tougher until you see the bark that you see on that tree. But a lot of this, everybody, you're definitely looking at that photograph and you're replicating this, you see. Now, a lot of times people would try to look for a different way to get all those bubbles and O's back there. But that's the difference between the artists of the past and the artists now. Because the artists of the past, they didn't have a lot of distractions. Their movements was restrained. They really couldn't move that much if you didn't have finance. you didn't have horses, good finance, or if you didn't have train fare and stuff like this, and you had to walk, then nah, you know what I mean? Your investigations is going to be low. But now we feel as if, you know, there's always an easier way because we got all these different ways of understanding something, instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
So I can go to Google and try to figure this out. And then some artist somewhere maybe oh, make a stencil and then just cover the stencil. But how are you really going to have control
Right.
of the sensation of the idea of this being random nature if you don't use the whimsical, you know, movements of your hand not being perfect?
It's
For
like
those of you,
jazz.
well, it is jazz, it is improv. That's what it is. You're improving the movements. You know, you're making up a movement that suggests what something is. The same thing a jazz improv master would do. They would take certain harmonies or movements or repeat a movement on that particular instrument to stay within the harmonics of what's running through the timing and all of that good stuff. So if there's a certain track or a certain rhythm that everybody's playing, that gives space to somebody to play their instrument in and out or on time or off time with the duration of the piece and then to come back by the ending.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful when it's done right. When it's done right and it's done with, you know, real intent, improvisation has been proven to be a very beautiful way of expression, whether it be audio or visual. Because you use the idea of improv when you're doing a painting too as well, when you're talking abstract, existential, or subjective. Even a graffiti artist, whether they use the theory or not overtly with the words, their actions is such that they're doing that movement. And notice how I'm not worrying about perfection. I'm just worrying about making this feel like stone, making it adhere to the idea that I'm borrowing this from.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel like stone sitting next to one another? Does it feel like a leaf sitting on top of that?
Mm.
You see, if I got that feeling, then I'm okay with it. You know, are there other things that I can do to this at this point? Yeah, there's other things that you can do with this at this point. The situation is, which one would you want to do? It's all up to you at a certain point. You know, how did the spaces get filled in? You know, it's almost like Connect Four. It's almost like a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Tetris, you know what I mean? Putting blocks next to one another to make them fit in. You know? Yeah. Oh, that's what I hear people walking upstairs. That's how good that mic is. It make it sound like they're standing right next to me.
Well, yeah, I don't hear it.
Yeah, the headphones do. That's why I had to take one ear off every now and then, you know.
Right.
Yeah, there it is. You see, I'm filling that space pretty good. And you start seeing more and more of that leaf coming out. You see. And I'm using all the shapes that I used in all these other areas to fill it in, you know. You almost filled in, or you still trying to figure it out?
I think I'm almost filled in.
Yeah, because you want a smaller piece of paper.
Yeah.
I'm on 18 by 24.
I did that because I'm working with my printer size, and I thought,
Nah, well, everybody likes to work those smaller sizes. You know what I mean? It's okay. You did that from way back. You was doing 9 by 12, 11 by 14.
yeah.
Because sometimes the size can be the issue of the format.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then now if the size is too overwhelming, then you don't get pieces done. That's why I always suggest that people work with various sizes until you get the size that, how would you say, suits you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you stay with that size paper you buy in bulk until you're ready to transition to a larger size to prove your theorems and ideas. That's what's going on. So you stay at the smaller sizes, one, to work your idea out and you get your theory out.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, to be, if you're selling, to be more economically, to the marketplace. That means you have smaller, mid-size, and larger pieces. You see, so that in this way you're more marketable. Yeah, those are all tactics. Can an artist stay at one size? Yeah, you got artists that stayed at one size. You have that New York style that they call it, and it's called the grandiose. That's those big sizes you see in the museums and stuff that goes for a couple of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see the smaller sizes like we're doing. You'll see a couple of 18 by 24s and things like this. Why? Because these are the sizes where you prove your thoughts and your theorems. You're a landscape artist, yeah, it makes it easier for you to transport pieces around. And then you use the smaller pieces when you get to your studio space to do your bigger, ambitious pieces. A lot of times this would be done, people would do the smaller pieces in charcoal and stuff like that and graphite.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, then they would do it in watercolor and ink. And then after that, they would do out an oil sketch. They get their colors together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the final piece would be done. So a lot of people skip all of those parts of the practice. They'll take this stage and say, this is finished.
Mm-hmm.
They'll take this sketch and say, it's finished. It's a finished piece. Whereas in other eras, that wouldn't be a finished piece. It would be on a roadway to getting to a finished piece. Yeah. And all of this is in here. You see. And have some fun, make some odd shaped ones here. Put a heart in there if you want to. Put different heart shapes, stones if you want to. Make one so irregular that it stands out. So it can be like a Where's Waldo type of situation. Where is the heart rock? You know what I mean? In this design. Can you see any oddity in the shapes of the rocks? You see? And that all helps with, how would you say, observation skills for human beings, all this good stuff, where it goes into the psychologies and stuff, behavioral sciences and stuff. How many rocks can you draw? That's why when I was a special education teacher, I would kill them because I wouldn't have handouts. We would draw out our own handouts.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found was that's more powerful to make somebody draw it, then write it, then draw it again and color it in. They absolutely know what that item is then. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you have a speech impediment, language barrier, it doesn't matter. As a human being, we all look at those same shapes, those same edges, and we just call them what we think they are to us based upon where you was raised or brought up at. But pretty much throughout the spectrum, it all means the same. Down means down, up means up, out means out, in means in. That's why you can take your hand and move it towards your mouth like this, and everybody on the planet knows, oh, that person wants something to eat. Mm-hmm. So, these guys upstairs, they do all of this. And then they get upset when I play that music loud.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to tell them, hey man, you guys got to be mindful of all your stomping and walking and dropping of tools and utensils. I got dust balls coming down here when you guys leave. But it's okay. I'll get them back later. And that's all I do. And then they'll go, oh, that's right, Don, you do. You broadcast on Sunday mornings. You did say that. I apologize. And then I get a free cup of coffee.
Mm.
Camaraderie is still there, but it's like, man, come on, you guys. You see, so now it's pretty much just waiting to be filled in now. You see the piece that I got here, darkening some of the lines to make more things permanent if you wanted to. If you wanted to keep it abstract, you can just make it so that the stones would just be there and you could leave the space for the leaf. That would be an abstract idea, you see? You can just do the texture of the ribs of the leaf and then just the ovals, no outside line. That would be abstract. You can take it because you're taking certain things and pulling it out of context, you see. So if we just did that, just did the colors and then just had one or two colors, that would be a minimalist idea too as well, but it's still also abstract. We're pulling things out of context and then putting our feelings with it. We can take it to the point where it's a non-objection, meaning that it's not objective. We couldn't identify the leaves. You see what I mean, Nadine?
Yes.
So then that's where, when we did that piece where we did a deductive drawing or the simplification drawing.
Yeah, I remember
minimalist drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another idea into the abstract. If we was to make this one a minimalist piece, we would take away the outline of the leaf and then just leave the rib movement of the leaf and the stones.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is the way you would extrapolate from an idea, a thought, a picture, or an area in space to be able to look at the possibilities of creative ideas that's there.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is where the whole positive and negative space. If we was looking at the leaf photograph that you have, then we would say, oh, we want to deal with the negative space around the leaf alone. Mm-hmm. So then I would be just looking at the stones and all the intricacy of the stones, the different colors, the different shapes, the different textures, to be able to pull out the way they sit next to one another. And then now the leaf wouldn't be really a concern. It would just be the surface quality of it or whatever I would extrapolate from it to make it minimal, to take it out of context then, to put a new thought on it, to be existential, to be abstract, to be subjective. So I could just look at the lights and darks and just do the lights and darks. Mm-hmm. That would be an abstract piece. Mm-hmm. You see? So yeah. See how some of yours, though, see, like you made the leaves look symmetrical on yours. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas the leaves are not symmetrical. So you have to start, how would you say, paying attention to the idea of asymmetry. Mm-hmm. And not thinking that if it's asymmetrical, that it's going to look negative or it's bad. It's not. It's just another adaptation of observation or design as far as humans are concerned. But if you look at your leaves, it looks almost like a hibiscus flower.
Yep, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Rather than looking like a dried out one. So what I mean is you didn't look at the edge, you started to freestyle some of the edges. You just threw it in. Mm-hmm. Whereas when I looked at the 6 o'clock one and I started going across, I'm really looking at the edge and how that edge is moving. And then based upon that movement that I'm seeing, guesstimate and make up a mark, invent it to, how would you say, assume the idea of that leaf in that position. Mm-hmm. Not just to throw it in. See, the way you just threw it in, that's another abstraction. Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of messed up. And so when I messed up, I just kept going with it.
No, see, that's the whole thing. When you mess up, you gotta, when you do what you calling a mess up, which is poor timing, I call it, because if you would have just did a little bit more looking, this is for everybody. Do more looking at the edges that you're about to put down. Familiarize yourself with those movements that you're looking at the ultimate edge, not the whole thing. Notice I looked at the edge here. We put the stem in first, you see? Then when I got the location of the stem where I felt as if it was close to what the photograph was doing, then I started doing the stems coming off. But notice what we did. I did the one first. That's the most identifiable. And then now you start coming and making what the sides might look like. I didn't just throw it in like that. I didn't just go like that. The attempt was, or the intent was, to look at the extreme edge of that leaf and try to make a mark that invents that idea. That basically, how would you say, simulates that idea. Because it's not exactly that leaf, but it's close to being the leaf. So it's my expression of the leaf. It's my regurgitation of the leaf. It's what I learned about the leaf. You see? So like, even though it may not be a clear cut on how that leaf is going, you got to make that movement. If you just do this, then it's a guesstimation. It's like a 4-leaf clover at that point. It's like a hydrangea, any one of those plants that's like that. You know what I mean? Lilac, all of those. When you just blow it out like that, that's what you're, doing. So just remember, it's based upon intent, everybody. Try to mimic as much as you can before you start just taking creative license and just throwing it in. Yep, and if you notice, I got that whole thing filled in. Is it exactly what's going on there? No. Does it feel like that picture was utilized in there? Yeah. Another thing you can do if you was coloring in this, you can color in all the inside. You see? And then leave the outside in graphic detail. Or you can vice versa it. These are all different ways of looking at the material, or not the material, but looking at the design that you have and saying what other things can you bring into it color-wise. Could I just do the color of the leaf and then leave everything else? Yep. Could I just do the coloring in the background and leave the leaf without color? Yep, that's another way of looking at it. Can I do everything in a high color idea? Yep, that's another way of looking at it. Can I take one stone and just fill in one stone with color in a nice intricate spot? Yeah. Can I do everything in gray and then do the same thing, put one area in color? Yeah. These are all different ways of looking at it and being able to design this idea, this thought, other than the state it's in. The more you do that, the more you start to open yourself up to ideas and possibilities, and you start stepping away from the idea of perfection a whole bunch. Because you'll start worrying more about the expression more so than the perfection. You'll start worrying about the spiritual more so than the preciseness. Not to say either or one is over the other. No, it's what's your intent at that point. And whatever your intent is, that's what you're seeking to prove to the audience, to yourself. I'm just going to use just the colors of the leaves, and I'll make you feel the same way. Basically, all of it is in the same color zone as the leaf, because that's the back of the leaf or the bottom of the leaf, not the top of the leaf. And you can tell by the way it's drying that that's the bottom part of the leaf, the waxy side. That's the side that helps to, how would you say, keep the light inside the top part to do what it needs to do to get that light, photosynthesis, instead of trying to explain it all. Photosynthesis, keep the light moving through the veins and absorb into it. And be pulled into the innermost of the tree bark so that it fuses with the energy that's coming from below. Synchronization, all that good stuff, timing, all that stuff we talk about. And if you study trees and nature and everything that you touch and that you do and get to know thyself, you'll know it too as well. You'll see that it's not too much speciality going into it. It's just you getting to understand you based upon how other humans got to get to understand this whole thing that we do. And then you're looking and you're saying yay or nay. And then that debunks a theory or keeps a theory going. The sky is blue. It's a theory. Does it stay blue? Yeah. Has it been blue for eons? Yeah. Has it been other colors? Yes, it's been other colors. But the one color that sustains itself even more so in our sky is what? Blue.
Blue.
That's the main color you see throughout your existence.
Even in the ocean, in the sky.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Blue, that blue is there.
Blue is everywhere.
But the main thing is, I'm saying that is the sky other colors? Can it be other colors? Yes. But what's the main color that it's in, that you always see it interpreted in? Blue. Well, you always wake up in the morning and you don't always see red, violet, orange skies. You always see a blue sky a larger majority of the time. And if the conditions is not right, you won't even see all that changing going on when the sun comes into your area. It may just go in the morning from yellow straight to blue, or from dark purple to yellow to blue. But a lot of people don't look at those phenomena. Think about it. You have some artists that look at time in that way and do pieces based upon that. They'll show deteriorating plants, deteriorating vegetables and fruit. And even in some, back in the 1500s, they would draw meat deteriorating or decomposing. They would paint that timely thing. Yep. All in England and stuff. They would do butcher block paintings and, the marketplace paintings and stuff. And they would show meat decomposing and how it looked when it was fresh, and then all the way down to when it decomposed and rotted off the bone. So these are drawings that people don't even look at no more, because of CGI. We really don't, it's not even a shocker in society some days to see somebody's innards. Because you don't watch so many movies that has CGI and fake blood and fake this and that and the other.
Ketchup.
Yeah, well,
ketchup
it looks, it's ketchup and syrup and all of that, but when it gets linked together and you editors get to editing things and stuff like that and timing, oh boy, 30 seconds of a second and all this stuff like
You're like, oh, blood.
Yeah.
And it's just ketchup.
Yeah. The timing with the sound, and then the sound and the visual and the fake blood and ketchup goes together, and then bang.
It's all an illusion.
Yeah.
In the end, it's all an illusion.
Yeah. Which makes you look at the whole concept of this line: does art follow life, or is life following art?
Ooh.
Yeah. That's why I used to use this other one, art is life and creativity is in the soul.
That's right.
It's another one of my mottos that I was using and still use every now and then.
It's on your website. How's that coming along?
Yeah, well, no, it's on the Facebook. The website is not up yet, and we're gonna go with the pop-up printify.
Yep, and you can see that on our website. If you want to buy T-shirts like this one,
yeah, buddy.
When my eyes are open, it's on. You can click on the link in our Facebook page. Definitely.
Yep. And that'll go straight to the pop-up shop page.
And there you can buy a T-shirt.
T-shirt, you can buy a T-shirt. You can buy prints on canvas too as well.
Yes, you can.
Yep,
Uh,
yep, 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 yep.
and you won't know until you go over there and check it out. And I would recommend you go over and check it out right now. We both recommend you go over and check it out right now. Why? Because the holidays are coming up. And what better way to express your love by sharing the excitement of creative expression, work done by Don Stephens at Don Stephens Art.
There it is. Bang. Couldn't say it better myself,
I'm
everybody.
just saying. And then you give the gift, that love of art expression to someone else, and you also support Don,
When you're supporting the arts, you know what
and
I
you're
mean?
supporting the arts.
Because you'll just say you support me, and then some people may not, participate for
But
those reasons. Honestly, that's how some,
but
customers
that's
can get.
but that's unfortunate, Don, because by supporting you, they're supporting what you do, which is going out to the community. And this is for real. I'm not blowing up smoke or
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. Don goes out to the community, different adult centers, places for young kids, especially in the spring and the summer, people with disabilities of certain kinds of disabilities or whatever. There
Mm-hmm.
might be things that are happening at centers. There you're going to find Don sharing his passion and love for creating,
Mm-hmm.
and that everyone is an artist and has an opportunity to create. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why we are here. We have been focusing on older adults, meaning those 50 and over, but we're also want everyone to know that it's really for everyone, and we're trying to open up the space for those under 45,
Yep.
to get together and create. So more of that. But we just wanted to share that, because yes, Don, they think, well, the guy, what, I'll buy a piece of work, whatever. Yeah. But if there's more involved, because it becomes cyclical,
Well,
you
no, a lot of times that merch is there because people don't have the finances to buy an original. So if you don't have the finance to buy an original, everybody get a print or get a T-shirt. That's what merch is there for that
right.
type of support.
Mm-hmm.
Also, those monies go towards the classes that Nadine made mention to. So yeah, they get support from the state, but then a lot of times that's not enough. Sometimes the supplies that we do need to demonstrate is a
Mm-hmm.
little bit pricey. So then that's where those funds that I have go towards that to be able to make sure I have 10 or maybe 20 of everything so that when I
Mm-hmm.
go to a class, I can service, anywhere from 5 to 20 people, no problem, whether it be watercolor, acrylics. And now this year, I'm starting to get people sending in oils and things like that because I got a
Nice.
lot of requests for people wanting to learn oil paint. But the
Mm-hmm.
problem is that a lot of times people don't understand the finances of it. So then that's when I go through the thing of, buying inexpensive, buying certain things. And yeah, that can get costly because I am using my own funds. And it can get kind of problematic with, dancing with the bottom line myself. But I'm able to do that with some of the stuff. So thanks to some of those individuals that have participated, bought T-shirts, donated to PayPal and things like that. And that keeps the engine going, that keeps the other centers going. And we just gonna keep on rolling forward, everybody, to 2024. So thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, keep
Yeah,
creating.
keep creating. So listen, thank you. You're still here watching it all the way to the end. We love you. You are a part of our art fam, and we appreciate you. Do say hello in the comment section, because that just lets us know that you hear us and that
Yep.
we're all about creating. And so as we come to a close, we want to thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope to see you again real soon. Take care, be safe, and as always,
Keep
keep
creating.
creating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oop.
Thanks,
Ah,
everybody.
yeah.
See you again real soon.
Mhm.